So when we think about energy independence, especially these days, we think about meeting the twin goals of energy security and the clean energy transition and how best to meet that. And obviously, I think, and you're hearing it from a lot of your viewers, is it's about investing in diverse domestic resources, and that those resources need to increasingly be renewable over time. And I think the important thing there is that gas, like electricity, can be renewable.
How do you make it reliable, though? I mean, we've talked a lot about the importance of the shift to renewables, but when some of those fail, or we've done it in such a way where it's so fast that it isn't reliable, how do you make sure that that transition is smooth and also reliable as well?
Yeah, you complement renewable electricity, which can be intermittent, to your point, with renewable gases, which is what gives you that renewable and that reliability and that resiliency. And that's why you're seeing this tremendous momentum globally and also nationally on hydrogen. You know, it is an energy-dense gas, but it's not a greenhouse gas, and it makes renewables from sun and wind available 24/7, 365 days a year.
What role does hydrogen play, Maryam?
We think it's an important part of the mix that's going to help us to meet those twin goals around energy independence, energy security, and clean energy faster. We see from our end that the costs are coming down really significantly. And what it does is it adds to energy diversity. And anytime you create a jump in the access to energy, you're going to have a positive impact on energy prices. And that's why, you know, our company has actually leaned in on hydrogen, and we announced a big project a few weeks ago. Angela's link on it.
Can you talk to us about the specific challenges that California faces? In full disclosure, I'm from the Central Valley, and in the summer we joke we're politely asked to unplug our appliances because it's 105 degrees and there's no energy and no one can afford an $800 electric bill when you're running the AC. So can you talk to us about the specific challenges that you're seeing in California, and particularly your Southern California?
Yeah, absolutely. California is a bit of an island on energy, and so we deal with a tense dynamic on supply and demand. And to your point, I think that there is an increased focus about needing to bring more supply to customers and also manage demand with energy efficiency. And California does have a good story to tell on energy efficiency per capita, but I think you're seeing a lot of focus in the state on bringing increased supplies.
Maryam, how about nuclear energy? How does that fit into the equation? I'm hearing from certain folks within that space that, you know, there's a lot of advances being made where you don't need to build these huge nuclear facilities that pose a significant risk. Maybe you can do it on a much smaller, more nimble scale. How do you think about nuclear?
Yeah, nuclear, that's a complicated issue here in California, but I think it's a complicated issue federally because we have a waste management issue. So I think whether it's a solution today, maybe not, but is it going to be a part of the solution eventually? Maybe. And so I think that we're in a place to accomplish the goals that we have. We need all technologies on the table, and I would include that one.
How are you thinking about the impacts from Russia's invasion of Ukraine? We've talked a lot about the gas market in Europe. You're taking a look at European gas prices already up 34% on the day as Putin had been looking to seek payment in rubles. Europe, though, feels distant, right, from the U.S. and from your Southern California. But what do you see as the impacts, if any, already here on this market?
I think the lesson of the last several weeks really is urgency. There was already a trend, and you heard about it at CERA Week 2 weeks ago on the drive for energy security and clean energy transition. And I think that the experience from what's going on in Europe and Ukraine really has put in urgency, because I think, you know, this won't be the last cold winter, and it won't be the last hot summer that we just had, and it won't be the last geopolitical event that we have. History may not repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. So we need to learn from this and accelerate our investments towards energy security and the clean energy transition.
And Maryam, just quickly here, climate change. Boy, you just see coming out of the great state of California, if it's not a wildfire, it's a mudslide, it's an earthquake. How does climate change factor into how you kind of think about your forecasting going forward?
Climate policy is really needs to be a factor in investment decisions, and managing climate risk is definitely part of our investment decisions. And part of that is future-proofing our existing infrastructure, and we've got a significant amount of it. We're the largest gas utility in the country. And another part of it is new infrastructure. So the announcement of the large green hydrogen project that we announced, Angeles Link, that's part of it. And it's also as we modernize our infrastructure, that we look to make it resilient to be able to adapt to changing climate and externalities.
All right, Maryam Brown, thank you so much for joining us. Maryam Brown, president of Southern California Gas Company. Well,